So I've owned my 2006 STI for a year now, and it's been my dream car for a very, very long time. And now that I've owned it for a year, I've gone to learn the good and the bad, the lovely parts of owning an STI, specifically an older one, and also the downsides. So I thought it'd be really cool to celebrate 1 year by doing 5 things I love and 5 things I hate about this car. Well, not necessarily hate. I don't necessarily hate anything about this car. More like don't likes. But just before we get into it, I just want to give a quick disclaimer. This is not going to be like, oh, 5 things I don't like is the fact it has dust on it right now. There's a dent up there. Because in my opinion, when like people do that, it's like, like the whole time I'm thinking, well, just clean the car. But these things are going to be more like stuff that comes OEM in stock with the car. So if you're looking into buying a GD chassis STI, like a 04 to 06, 7, Hawkeye preferably, my favorite. But if you're looking into buying one, this would be a good video for you to watch. We're gonna be covering stock and OEM things. But without further ado, let's get right into it. The first thing is the styling. I mean, does it really need to be said? The 2006 STI is the greatest looking STI of all time. If you think otherwise, you're wrong. No, I'm just kidding. It's always been my poster car though. I mean, it's aggressive styling, the beautiful hood scoop, the beautiful way the front is shaped, the crazy hood scoop, and the crazy wing. Absolutely, I mean, how could you forget the crazy wing? I absolutely love it, and it looks absolutely boy racer, and I wouldn't have it any other way. The gold BBSs matched with the gold Brembo brakes looks amazing, and I love the way they used to say Brembo. Modern STIs, it just says STI, but I really like the way it said Brembo and BBS back then. And I've always said, STIs from this era look amazing stock. I mean, obviously like a lip, some fitments, maybe some aftermarket wheels, and you really got something special here. I don't think it looks good when people mess with them. They put all this goofy, weird stuff all over, these crazy, exaggerated diffusers. That's just my opinion. I think these things look really good stock. Don't mess with them. I'm not just talking about the STIs from this era too. The Evos also just look fantastic with a lip and some fitment. The second thing, traction control. I remember in my 2017 STI, I'd be having a lot of fun in the snow, in the gravel, even on wet days, and then a 90-degree turn would be up ahead of me, and I'd be like, yo, I'm gonna hit this great, this is gonna be fantastic. We're gonna get a little power slide going. It'd be downshift, blip the throttle, get ready, here we go, turn, then boom, traction control. Ruined the whole experience, it just ruined the turns. Even sometimes when I got stuck, you know, like there was a little bit of slush, the car would just stop because it thought you were sliding. And it's like, dude, this is a 300 horsepower all-wheel drive car. In my opinion, I don't think it needs traction control. In my opinion, it ruins the experience. And that's what I mean by, and what most people mean by, it's a more raw experience, the older ones. This car doesn't have traction control, so it's 100% you. There's no computers telling you what you can, you can't do. You can just go around a corner, not have to freaking press the button, hold the freaking button to turn off the computer. You can just stay in the moment and just hit these corners and power slide, and there's nothing stopping you from doing that. It's all your own skill, it's all you in the car, and I absolutely love that about this car. It's just the lack of traction control is just amazing, and the lack of just assistance is just perfect. I mean, that's what really makes a more raw driving car, is the ability to be you and the car, nothing else. Number 3, and I know this is going to sound weird because I don't think a lot of people talk about this, but is the visibility of this car. This visibility is perfect. Just the way you sit in this car. You do sit a little bit high, and I know some people don't like that, but everyone I've had in here, they all say the same thing. It's just something they've never really experienced. It's just the passenger seat, the driver's seat, the amount you can see, the amount of glass is just such a beautiful thing. The skinny A-pillars, you don't have this blind spot. Like, the wing it's so big, you can see right under it. So perfect visibility in the back. In the front, the hood curves in just the right amount so you can see the road directly in front of you. It's like, you feel so small in this car, and that's so amazing. I know some people love the room feeling, and that's why they have heavy tint. Me, I'm the opposite. I love the fishbowl feel. Being able to see, you know, the beautiful trees in Alaska, the mountains, see where I'm going. I love that. And that's one of the reasons why I took the tint off this car. But also the hood scoop. Let's add that too. The hood scoop is absolutely amazing. The fact you can just see it so perfectly, and it's just, this car, wherever you look, it reminds you what you're in. It reminds you you're in an STI. The wing and the hood scoop. But I'm going off in a little bit of tangent. I just want to mention that because the visibility in this car and the way you sit in it, the way you feel, how tight the car is, because in the 2017 one, I know when me and my girlfriend go out to dinner, it felt like we were a little bit further apart, but in this one, it feels just more cozier, more tighter, and I love that sports car feel, just smaller, compact. I was in a 911 2 years ago, and that's another reason why I loved the 911, was just all the visibility and the tight compactness. So yeah, that's number 3, visibility in this car. The fourth thing I love about this car is the weight and the size, and I hinted it in the interior with the visibility. Not only do you feel smaller and lighter, you are smaller and lighter. I'm not exactly sure how much lighter weight-wise this car is to compare like the 2017 STI I had, the newer WRXs and STIs. Its cars are getting heavier, and that's not really my style. I've always preferred lighter, more nimbler cars. If you compare the two STIs as well, the newer ones and the older ones, these are physically smaller. You can see these things way lighter, and they're physically smaller, and to me that just means the world. I absolutely love smaller things. I'm a big racing fan, big F1 fan, and the closer I can feel to having something nimble and quick, I'll take that every day over a heavier car with higher horsepower numbers. And plus, it's just better to just lose weight, because the horsepower you do add on, it goes some way longer way. I mean, 50 more horsepower on this car and 50 more horsepower on, say, a newer, heavier car. Do you feel the difference? You really do. And yeah, that's my fourth favorite thing, is the weight and the size. I'm getting cold right now, so we're gonna go back inside and get the fifth favorite thing about this car. The fifth thing I love, and it's back in the interior. And my fifth favorite thing I love about this car is the IC water spray. Basically what that does is you press this button and there's a water reservoir in the trunk that you have to fill up. And the water basically goes through some hoses and sprays water onto the intercooler. So when it's a really hot day or you're driving really aggressive, it sprays water on your intercooler to cool it down. And yes, it's effective, and yes, it actually has a function, but I love what it means. And not to get like all super deep and stuff and get all philosophical, but like cars, it's these little things that made the STI so special. It's the little quirks that broke it apart from everything else. I mean, everything up to the blue suede everywhere in the car. It's like, it just feels so unique and it feels so special. It's just really captures the era this car came out of. So, IC water spray, is that really necessary? For most people, it's probably not, but it's so freaking cool, and I absolutely love it. And also, you can adjust your fog lights. Mine don't work anymore because I have aftermarket fog lights, but you could if you had the stock ones. And those little quirks just make it that much more special. On to the first thing I do not like about this car. It is the understeer. The understeer in this car is absolutely atrocious. And all-wheel drive cars tend to understeer. All all-wheel drive cars tend to understeer, and that's because you have your wheels turned and all the wheels are trying to push the car forward. They're not really trying to turn the car, they're trying to push the car. And that just comes with all kinds of problems, and I always prefer corners over straight line speed. I love corners and wavy canyon roads way over straight line speed. So for me, that is a really big deal. When I'm getting into like a tight corner, I need to be really aware of my speed, make sure I'm not carrying too much speed, so I just understeer over. And I've gone cruising with cars that are rear-wheel drive, and they're able to get through a tight corner way quicker than I can because their cars don't understeer as bad. And I do have a fix coming in this summer's build, STI build, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, we're gonna fix that, and that's gonna be the first thing I fix about this car, because yeah, I'm not a fan of understeer. I way prefer oversteer. But yeah, watch out for that if you plan on getting one of these cars, because they understeer real bad from the factory. So the second thing I do not like about this car, and like I said, there's nothing I really hate about this car, especially not this one. This is just almost kind of like an inconvenience. Know this before you get in, and that is maintenance on this car. This maintenance on this car is expensive, and you need to know a lot about these cars. It's not like a Mustang where you can just know a little bit and just get by, you know, forget a few things and be fine. This is something that really requires a lot of love and attention. I'm not one of those people that are like, oh, Supras aren't reliable. I think they are very reliable and very good cars if you treat them right. But for example, every 3,000 miles you need to change your oil. Not 3,001, every 3,000. These ones burn oil like crazy. These older cars burn oil like crazy. It's a good idea every once in a while at the gas station in that 3,000 mile interval. I like to change, or sorry, look at my oil and just make sure everything's all right. but like I said, just requires a lot of maintenance, and if you forget to check up on the maintenance and just pay attention, learn good driving habits. For example, warming up the car for 5 minutes before you drive it. Don't get into boost for the 10 minutes you're driving it. Just little things you need to learn, and it's kind of a pain in the ass to learn, so the car doesn't bite you back. But yeah, that's number 2, is just the overall maintenance is just high, and you really need to pay attention to this car so you don't get bit. The third thing I do not like about this car is the materials on the dash. Just the cheap plastic everywhere. Everything just moves, buckles, creaks all around the car. And that's not the biggest deal in the world. This car is relatively cheap, and that's how Subaru made this car so successful, is because it had so much horsepower at the time and it was cheap. And they achieved that by putting cheap plastic everywhere. It's just really annoying to keep track of and keep clean, because there's a lot of things you need to do to keep this interior clean and in good shape. Good luck finding one of these things in good shape. In my opinion, my interior, I've been blessed with a good shape, good, well taken care of interior, and I've done a lot of upgrades, personal upgrades, to make it that way and keep it that way. But yeah, these things from the factory just come with cheap plastic. It's just something you have to deal with, but I mean, it shouldn't really bother you. I mean, you shouldn't really be buying a Subaru, getting into a Subaru, expecting, I don't know, like Audi quality, Porsche quality. So just something that's just in mine. I don't really like it, but I live with it. Everything else about this car is just really awesome, and the interior just feels really good and super cozy. It's just, you can get past the cheap plastic, right? I'm just being nitpicky at this point, but like I said, there's not a whole lot I don't like about this car. But just to be a Karen, to be nitpicky, the back seat is not it. I'm 5'11", so just under 6 foot, and it's just not really a good place to be. And I know I said I love the small, compact feeling of this STI and just smaller cars. My passengers do not agree. I've had people back here and they do not like being back here. But there is something I genuinely really don't like about back here. The seats do not fold down. The newer ones, they do fold down, and that's a luxury. When you have your snowboard, you have my longboard, you just throw stuff back here. Camping's easier because the seats fold down. These seats, they don't fold down, so there's not a whole lot of space in here for a 4-door car. So while filming the last and 5th thing I don't like about my car, my camera died. I know, right? It's just, I need to get better at that. I need to like get quicker at filming things. So I'm still not completely comfortable on camera, so there's like a bunch of takes in between this. So anyways, thank you guys for your patience. Anyways, on to number 5, the 5th thing I don't like about my car, and that has to be the paint quality. The paint quality on these cars are not it. Like these older GD chassis, like good luck finding one without rust on it. It's so hard. So I resprayed my car a year ago, like when I first got the car, because it was in really rough shape. So we had to do whole paint correction, whole respray, and already there is rust forming on the fender. And it's like, I've seen this on every single GD chassis STI. It's like there's rust always forms in the bottom left side of the driver's side fender for some reason, and then the rear mounting points for the wing, there's always rust on every single one. So it's like, I know I said it's like I'm not gonna just talk about things that are on my car, but I feel like that's on all older Subarus. There's always rust, there's always like really bad faded chip spots on paint. So I feel like I can count that as just Subarus in general just have usually poor quality paint, man. There's always something on them. It's like once a week I have to go to the car wash and like get under there and just like spray all the salt off the car underneath. But anyways, that's number 5. It's just the overall paint quality. These things are just not that good. But anyways, thank you guys for sticking to the end of the video, and thank you guys for watching, the support, all that, man. Really appreciate it. And yeah, I'm having a lot of fun doing this. So thank you guys for all the people that tune in, and just yeah, subscribe and like. Appreciate it. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one, and have a good day. Later.